Guys, we need to speak about All of Us Are Dead. We need to speak about the show, and we need to speak about it right now. Put your things down, get a snack, and let's break this entire show down, because I was hooked from the beginning right to the end. Hey guys, it's Morali here again with another video. If you have not subscribed, guys, click that button. It is daily and consistent content. Subscribe to the channel, my Instagram, everything in the bio below. And let's get into this review. Just another day and another great Netflix show for me to review. I was hooked onto this show. Do you understand? This show behind me, all the kids standing behind me, I was absolutely hooked.
놓치지도 말고. 맞다.
Onto the show. Hooked onto the show from day one. One thing about me is, you know what, let me just get comfortable. Let me get a drink, guys, and let's actually just relax. Let's all relax. I love a zombie breakout movie program, whether it be in a school setting or, you know, amongst a town, a village, and just seeing how different people survive. I thought it was very interesting how, you know, there was a father whose son was continuously being bullied in the school. The school wasn't doing anything about it because of the political issues and the image and how things are very restricted and constrained in places like Korea. And of course, it, you know, brought a lot of resentment within the father. He obviously then tried to create some kind of virus or some kind of antidote, you could say, for the solution for his child to make him stronger, to beat up the bullies. Never worked, and everything went down the drain. My favorite feature of this show, and what I like about a reality TV show or a non-scripted reality or a scripted show, sorry, a non-reality TV show, is interweaving storylines. I live for a show that has interweaving storylines. It is my favorite feature personally. I'll digress and elaborate. What I mean by interweaving storylines is I want to see different things going on. I don't want to just follow the same 3-4 people. This may have been the main group, and I know it's kind of blurred out because the focus is on me right now, but we followed a lot more people than just the main group, and that is what I absolutely loved. We followed the pregnant girl with her baby, as she was going on. We followed some of the kids' parents and their journey back to this particular area to find out if they can save their children. We then followed, you know, that particular girl who's lesbian in the toilets with that guy, and obviously the 2 people who, you know, shoot bow and arrows, then joined them, and we followed them as well. And then we followed the particular girl who ended up being a reject from this group because she, you know, was calling somebody a wealthy, you know, welfare, you know, making the mockery of him being poor. Then we followed her own journey as she left the group and was hiding in that cupboard full of snacks and what would happen to her. Then we followed the bullies, and, you know, we saw them die and whatever. And then the girl, Yuji, I believe her name is, who of course, you know, was the one who was being bullied, and she was looking for those phones, everything. And like, we just followed different people. We were being chased. The detective and what happened with him, like, do you know what I mean? And how he was found, the YouTuber who was on the dam. Like, it was just insane. There were different things going on continuously. You were different scenes, there were different events. You're following this one, you're following that one. You're continuously enticed to see what was going on. I absolutely loved that. Numra, listen. Namra is my girl, do you understand? From day one, I stand this girl. From day one, I stand her. From when she's reading her book, walking around as if there aren't zombies anywhere. It's this clever girl, you know, always, I like the quiet ones. The quiet ones are the ones that think more. And in situations like this, you need to think more than you need to speak or act. And when she slapped that girl for speaking too much, I'm thinking, you better do what you need to do. This whole narrative of them becoming half zombies, half humans, at first I was a bit confused, but then, you know what, it kind of made sense because viruses do evolve, and this was actually the goal of the scientist teacher. This is what he wanted. He wanted his son to become a superhuman. So in actual fact, his idea worked. What I didn't like is that the way he passed away and died was just in the corridor as the policeman ran away. I felt like there should have been more to the man who created this entire thing, so I didn't like that either. I also didn't like the fact that, you know, Ojon's dad, who came back to save them, died within 2 minutes when you could have easily ran with them up the hill. He didn't have to stay in there to sacrifice himself. So that in itself also didn't make any sense to me, like, at all. what also didn't make sense to me is the fact that all the kids were able to survive for 3 to 4 days without proper food. Half of them barely even had an inch of a chocolate bar. So somehow they had great energy, which could have been adrenaline, and you do need and you can survive without food for 3 weeks, but still it didn't make any sense. Perhaps the rainwater helped them, but it would have been nice for them to have gotten that food from that particular department area in that school. So, and the teacher, the way she died was so random. There should have been more to her as well. Her giving that whole speech about don't let anybody die and then you're dying. So there were a few hiccups, to be honest with you, but it didn't really bother me because I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I really wish there is a season 2. The way Namra jumped off the roof and everybody looked in shock. Of course, there are a lot more people. Xiao Sang, I think that's the main character, the guy. I completely forgot his name. The guy who likes Ojon. I'm saying all these names wrong. My apologies. I think he's definitely dead. Of course, he was fighting the main bully and they both went into the flames, and there's no way he could have survived that, whether you're a zombie or not, or superhuman or not. You can't survive situations like that, and I feel like he's passed away. Loki, I wanted him to survive. Loki, I wanted the main bully and the girl who was bullied by them to face off, both superhumans. I wanted them both to fight and for her to get her proper revenge. That is what I wanted to see, and that is just what I wanted to see, and unfortunately we didn't get to see that. I read a theory online that some of these people who turned into superhumans were because they were being bitten in a place where they were not in fear. Namra was not in fear and she was saving that guy. Xiao Sang was not in not Xiao Sang. The main bully was not in fear because he really wanted to kill Xiao Sang when he became eaten up. He wasn't scared at all. And the girl, obviously, when she got was looking for the phones to find that video of herself and she got bitten, she wasn't also scared either. Her main intent was finding that particular video because, especially in Korean culture, stuff like that can really end your career and life. Even if life is ending around you, you're still focused on ending that. So I thought that realism was amazing. Then the political issues, the way that tied into it, and then you have the ambassador, the assemblywoman, and how she obviously had all this courage but still tried to play it to her favor when doing videos, being interviewed by the police. Again, to me, was very interesting. And they were upset that they weren't carried out the helicopter quicker because of their status as a politician. So all of this was very real to me. A few hiccups here and there which I've mentioned, but I thoroughly enjoyed the show because it was continuously engaging. How is a show engaging? By having interweaving storylines. Don't give me a storyline between one group. I want to see a storyline between 5 to 6 different people or groups. Find out what they're doing, what methods they're using. That particular part when they were in the gym, when they were in the basketball court, in that particular locker room, not locker room, sorry, but room where all the equipment is, and then they decided to put everything in a circle. When they shared that chocolate bar, the guy with the glasses did not get a piece. That, I believe, was a foreshadowing moment that he was the one that was going to pass away right there and then, which I thought was interesting because it was also his idea and he was most vocal. There was a lot of quiet little eggs for you to pick up on, or signs that you could miss, that actually predict the future of the next episode or whatever else is going on. And that, I think, is interesting because it makes us really focus on each scene to find out what the hell is going on. And the way he passed away, he knew once he got bitten that he was going to jump out there, cause a distraction whilst they all did that. I think it was a terrible move to be in a circle. Made no sense because all the zombies around is hard to push. They should have been in the boxes, as that particular girl with the short hair said, but unfortunately that didn't take place either. I do think that, there were other individuals that we could have explored. The pregnant girl, I wanted to see more of her. Then you have also the girl who saw her mother and father in a van who were crashed when they had that little drone flying around, and she obviously saw that and was shocked and scared. And then she was in that field and she somehow was just panicking and everything. I wanted to see more of her and to see that situation as well. I feel like there were a lot of the girls and guys that we could have elaborated on rather than cutting them short. But at the same time, producers may have wanted to slim down the characters per episode to focus on the main people and really make the plot more precise and accurate. However, guys, all of us are dead. Amazing. Like, fantastic. The best scenes for me were whenever there was a big fight going on. I thought that was absolutely insane. Then when they were in that particular gym court with that circular thing going on, and I thought that was intense because I didn't think they were going to make it. There were so many scenes where I was like covering my eyes. Them being in a school setting to me was insane because you have this kind of fragile nature of young children in a school, but yet the evil nature of them running around so fast ready to kill everybody. And the idea of them pulling the curtains and making plans and being quiet and running from classroom to other classroom or hall to hall or down one level to up the level was intense. I just love scenes like that. And when Xiao Sang was in the library with that main bully jumping on top of the things, that was intense. This was one of the best Netflix shows I have ever watched. Honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Specifically me, I just love zombie related stuff, but I thought this show was amazing, guys. If you have not watched All of Us Are Dead, go and watch this show. It's 12 episodes, an hour each, probably one of the longest running shows on Netflix, and I definitely believe a second season is coming with Numra. What happens next when it comes to Numra? What is next with her? This is going to be interesting now, because fan theories are saying that perhaps, you know, there are, as she said, a lot of people out there in that particular village or area or city that are like her. Perhaps they will, you know, form a proper community, and, you know, the virus still lives in them. So it could also still spread around everywhere because it has not been completely eliminated. When they use those explosions to try and kill everybody off, yes, it killed off 95%, but 5% are there, and half of that 5% are superhumans. So, you know, with a conscience of being aware of everything, it does seem like perhaps they will wage war on everybody or something like that. I don't know, but it looks like a season 2 could be definitely in the ropes, and there's so much potential. I thought Namra was going to kill all of them on the roof. I genuinely thought that would have happened. I wouldn't have been mad at that because the title of the film is All of Us Are Dead. So like at this point I wouldn't have been actually mad if that took place, but I thought it was interesting. The girl with the pink top, I'm surprised that she survived to the end. I thought that she was going to be one extra that would have gotten beaten up or, you know, killed in seconds. The fact that she survived when she dropped so many damn times running up the forest hills, I genuinely thought that she was going to pass away. But somehow she survived. The guy who was bigger, I thought he was funny. I liked how he brought the comedy. And there were times of the show where the music changed into some kind of comedy related, funny, light-hearted sounds. He, you know, added a lot of humor, and his humor to me was quite realistic. He was just making random jokes here and there, or talking about people that he may have liked and just being upfront with it, and that was interesting. The love interests. Let's get into that now. It's interesting to balance a zombie show. You know, you're going through a whole situation that's an entire different pandemic that we are literally going through right now. And in the midst of that, you're talking or confessing your love to somebody, or you're nervous around somebody because you really like them, but we're going through a whole zombie nonsense. Who has time for that? So it's interesting to show different human emotions, not just scare, you know, survival and fear, but also love, affection, and being vulnerable as well. Xiao Sang, when he saw his mother crawling around, that had me in tears, guys. When he found his mother on the floor in that kind of, you know, park field area, and he was going crazy, and then he was upset at his friends who were hitting her, that really actually made me cry. I had tears coming down my eyes, because you're seeing your own mum as a zombie, as a corpse, basically a living corpse. You cannot do anything. And then it's also the point of him and Eugene, and when they both saw their father and mother literally dead or dying in front of them, they cannot sit there and grieve. They have to move. If you do not move, you die. So your adrenaline kicks back in after the sudden emotion of seeing your own father or mother literally dying in front of you. You have to run, and then once you're running and you stop and you're safe for a while, then you see them grieving, then you see them shocked. I'm glad that we were able to see the full grieving process to an extent of the individuals who lost their parents. Otherwise it wouldn't have been realistic. You don't just see a mom and dad die in front of you, shocked, you run around and you're okay again. That's not how it works. So I'm glad that there was a lot of realism when it comes to their emotions. That tied down with the interweaving storylines I thought was interesting. Every time Namra changed her face, ready to eat up somebody, going red and whatever, it was just insane, because it shows to you the sheer control that she has over herself, that she hasn't been put in a position where she's killing her friends. She doesn't have any of that in her. She's very loyal and, you know, is in control of herself. But when she was on that roof, on the last scene, she looked very well. Much pleasant, clearer skin than beforehand, which tells me that perhaps she's running around eating people who may have been, you know, survivors that aren't half zombies and half human. Maybe they actually were just other survivors that were left there that somehow survived the blast or whatever, or didn't survive the blast, and perhaps she's going around eating them because she doesn't have loyalty to them. So that in itself is interesting. But I think that she was one of the best characters I've seen. I loved how calm she was, quiet she was, somebody who's more of a thinker like me. I mean, I know on YouTube I have to talk a lot, but outside of YouTube, I'm naturally just a quiet person. So I like somebody like that because you're thinking more about everything. Your mind is going crazy and running around. I thought that was interesting. The schoolroom, classroom scenes when the zombies were getting in and they had to put all the books and shelves and TVs and desks on top of each other to try and hold and barricade it in front of people. I thought it was interesting because I didn't think that would be as easy as they made it out to be, because, you know, you're having a lot of people run up on you. How are you able to do that? But anyhow, you know, it is a show, it's not real life. I liked how they also were able to navigate certain ways on how the zombies can be controlled. Eventually, all of them were able to find out that sound was a main factor, and that, you know, using a drone to distract people, or screaming, or one of them sacrificing themselves by running around, or, you know, 24 hertz apparently sound, that in itself was interesting. The quarantine camp zones was also a great perspective, and I'm glad that I saw that as well. The general surgeon ended up killing himself because he couldn't fathom the fact that he had to, you know, kill an entire town of people, and it got to him. And then right before that, he had a conversation with his wife and children, and he just had a gun and just ended everything. But then we saw them in these quarantine camps. How did they have to get out there? They obviously disguise themselves as guards. Then he jumps in the water. Like, there was just so much going on continuously every single minute. I love that. Your brain is constantly like, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? What's going on with you? You're constantly like engaged by this entire show. I'm genuinely thrilled by it. Yes, to me, that, as I've mentioned previously in this video, there were a few potholes about why didn't you explore this? Why did you kill off this person? Why this doesn't make sense? Yes, of course, but overall, I give this show a strong 8.6 out of 10, and I really did enjoy it. And I recommend you guys to please watch the show because I thought it was absolutely fantastic, man. I love a good zombie show. Zombie outbreak, who's going to survive, who's going to die first. The way that girl, I don't know what her name is, guys. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce their names. I've completely forgotten their names. I don't speak any Korean. So, you know, my knowledge on names in general is just very, very poor. But the girl, obviously, who was making a mockery out of that guy for being a wealthy, and calling him poor and whatever, the way she killed him by going into the sound studio room, by rubbing the wound literally on him without him knowing, and then seeing him eventually turn, was such a scene. What a scene that was, guys. What a scene that was. And Namra was the only one, because she's quiet and because she sits there and because she thinks properly, was one of the few ones to realize what the hell went on. And then the way she slapped up that girl, I read up and read her for absolute filth. Absolute filth. And then she got brutally exposed. Was an absolute amazing scene because it shows intergroup conflict. This is what we are witnessing here. Intergroup conflict. Another interweaving storyline. We're not just looking at interweaving storylines of different type of groups of people, or mothers or parents or their fathers trying to rescue their children, that trying to, you know, survive the zombie pandemic. We're not just looking at that as interweaving storylines within themselves, but interpersonal conflict within the groups. And you're confused watching this, thinking, why are you not beefing? There's a pandemic, but at the same time there actually is drama going on and people can't really help themselves, and it shows a different, vibrant personalities. That's what I also liked. We got a lot of different people in these groups who were different, and when they're different, it's easier to distinguish and to be hooked onto shows like this. Whether you're a reality TV or non-reality TV show, if you have different characters within a group, people are able to relate to whichever one they like, keeps them hooked. It's a great asset to a TV show. But I like the fact that there was a lot of inter-conflict, especially between the girl with the short hair in the toilet, who I believe also likes girls, and the girls with the girl with the bow and arrow. Like, they were obviously beefing for a minute at first. They had a lot of sexual tension, I believe, a lot of sexual tension. You know, introducing and having LGBTQ cast as well, I think was quite diverse, and I like that. And of course, they ended up being great friends. But then the guy with the bow and arrow, the way he passed away and died as well. Then you also have the guy, I'm just saying the guy. Hopefully you guys have obviously watched this. As you're watching this review, you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you guys are still here, because it's 19 minutes and I'm still talking. That's how you know that guy absolutely loved in this video right now. But then there was a guy whose wife was in the car with the baby, pregnant, and of course he was begging to have her life saved and his life saved, and unfortunately I believe they passed away as well. Or maybe they didn't, maybe they're still alive. Like, who knows, man? Who really knows? But this was a show. The scientist guy, I just wish he died in a better way, to be honest with you. But we still have a lot more to uncover. I do feel like this must have taken a long time to film, so we probably won't be seeing a season 2 anytime soon, but we definitely need it ASAP, guys. ASAP. Korea are absolutely killing it with their shows, going international, being an absolute success. I'm here for it. Hopefully get All of Us Dead Season 2. Let me know your thoughts are, guys, when it comes to this 20-minute review, when it comes to All of Us Are Dead. Epic, fantastic show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching this particular show. Comment down below. Hopefully my subscribers have watched the show. I'm really keen to hear what you guys are about to say when it comes to the show. Comment down below who you liked, disliked, what narratives you liked and disliked, anything else that I may have missed out on that you guys think I may have. Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Head over to my Instagram at Murad_Morali, my TikTok at Murad_Morali, and I will catch you guys soon for another video.